We're back to cook up something special with Hexclad, and this is special. Over the first 6 games of the season, Yankees have 22 home runs. That's most in Major League history. 10 different players have home runs. And then Judge, Jazz, and Volpe, first trio in Major League history with 4 or more home runs. And by the way, those 3 have combined for more home runs than 27 teams. Great to have you back. Jack and I have agreed this segment we're going to torpedo the pregame show completely. But we mean that in a good way because you see Jack has 2 bats. Torpedo bat. First week of the season, Jack has gotten crazy attention. Show us why.
It's gotten a ton of attention, rightfully so. We're going to show you the difference between a conventional bat and the torpedo bat. The torpedo bat in my right hand. And if you look at the barrel area, Bob, that's where the noticeable difference is. And what has happened, and you go back to the Yankees with Aaron Leonhardt, the physicist who had worked for them, you're trying to move some of the wood into the barrel part of the bat. You want the heaviest and fattest part of the bat to be where the batter is likely to make the most contact. You get that to happen, and you can create the most damage. The Yankees were at the forefront of this with Leonhardt. He now works for the Marlins. They've had a lot of other people who have picked it up since he departed, but it has made a lot of players better at making contact in that area.
Did the idea come within the Yankees organization at the time? Is that fair to say?
So you look back to when this was born, and the rough date that has been given is the offseason leading into the 23 season. But in talking to Yankee personnel, Bob, this was an idea that had knocked around the walls of the Yankee offices for a while, and they were finally able to enact it. Leonhardt, obviously, we've talked about him. He's a physicist, a PhD from MIT. He brings some of those ideas over to baseball, and it was player conversations between Leonhardt and other Yankee officials and executives that said, wait a second, how can you make a better model of this bat? And you look at the improvements in bats, they've come every decade in baseball. This one has really stood out. Why? Because over the weekend, the Yankees hit 15 home runs. And in the game where they hit 9 home runs, our own Michael Kay pointed out some of the differences in the bat and pointed out the torpedo bat. It's gotten a ton of attention, Bob.
All right, so I'm a player, and suddenly now, Jack, I'm intrigued by this torpedo bat. I'm not sure I'm buying in yet, but I'm intrigued. What's the process of me getting one?
It's a great question. So what the Yankees have done is they've collected a lot of data. And when you have all of that data, there's a conversation that happens between the Yankees and that player. Here is some information that might help you. Here is something you might want to do to customize your bat. Now, Bob, we have worked in baseball for a long time. People are often resistant to change in baseball. So you've got to have players who are willing to buy into this. You have to have players who are open-minded about this process. You look at the Yankees that we know are using these bats. You have homegrown players like Anthony Volpe and Austin Wells. They obviously trust the Yankee organization. You have newer players like Bellinger and Goldschmidt who have come over and embraced this idea. I will even add Jazz Chisholm to that list because he joined the Yankees last season. So the Yankees give these players that data. And then, Bob, there are multiple iterations of trying to find the right bat. It's not simply, for instance, Wells saying, okay, I swing a 34-inch, 32-ounce bat, and I'm just making up those numbers. Here's the torpedo bat. Go swing it. It's get it in your hands, get it inside the cage. How does it feel? Because in talking to Yankee personnel, the one thing that they are adamant about is the player has to be comfortable. And I love what Pat Murphy, the Milwaukee Brewers manager, said after the Yankees had tattooed his team. He said, listen, it's not the wand, it's the magician. Yes, the bat will do the damage, but it's the person with the bat in his hands who's doing the damage.
All right, so let me take the old one out of your hands because I do want you to illustrate something else. With the torpedo bat, it could be different for, let's say, Volpe has more dense wood here and maybe Wells does here. That's why they're so player-specific, right?
Right. You could probably say on average you're going down about half a foot from the top of the bat, and I thought Paul O'Neill did a great demonstration of this during last night's broadcast. Where a player's sweet spot is, right here in the barrel area, that's where you want more of that wood. That's where you want a player to be able to have the confidence that when he swings this bat, he's going to be able to do additional damage. And again, it's not for everybody. Recently, we've had elite hitters like Alex Bregman and Max Muncy give it a shot, and then put it to the side. Maybe they will go back to it, but it has to be the comfort for the player in his hands to feel as if it's going to work for him.
All right, so having talked about a variety of people that are involved in this process, certainly within an organization, it's not just one guy, one idea sitting there with a lathe making bats, right? It's a collaborative process.
In talking to Yankee personnel, that was one of the points that they emphasized. And if we give Aaron Leonhardt the credit, and that's the origin of where everything started, you have to talk about performance science people. You have to talk about analytics people. It's the scouts. It's the coaching staff. If everyone who has an ability to impact what the Yankees are trying to do. I thought Aaron Boone gave a great answer the other day about trying to improve on the edges. You're constantly trying to get better. And yes, the Yankees have been at the forefront of this. Other teams are scrambling to catch up right now. Before the Brewers left town, left the Bronx, they were asking questions about the torpedo bats because it wasn't something that had really crossed their radar. So if you're the Yankees, you want to leverage that advantage for as long as you can. Teams are going to respond and get their own torpedo bats. But as we have said, Bob, it takes some time. Yeah. It's not just reaching into the bat rack and taking the 34-32 torpedo bat. It's making sure it feels extra comfortable in your hands.
I feel like we've torpedoed the viewers with some good quality information on the bats.
I think we have. Just don't ask me, a journalist, to try and get a hit with one of these. Although I think if you were pitching, you'd probably lay one in there. I think I have a chance.
100%.